Hello, I'm Mitchell Nadine, and one of the topics that we'll be covering in Building Skills for Success is emotional intelligence. So, some things that I'll be covering in my presentation is what emotional intelligence is, why it's important, the abilities emotional intelligence can promote, and how it supports success in your future. So, emotional intelligence is constructed of four main components. First being self awareness. So, this is knowing what you're feeling and why you're feeling it. It's almost your moral compass in a sense, or your intuition. The second would be self management. So, this is being able to understand your feelings and handle them properly to not stress yourself out, or at least not be in melodramatic and overstress yourself about something that really doesn't need to be stressed out about. The third would be social awareness. So this is your understanding of others, how you perceive them, how you understand their feelings and their thoughts, and show empathy towards it. The final one is relationship management. So this is being able to apply all these, I would say, domains and create a healthy relationship with not only yourself but with other people. So, why is it so important? We have to be able to understand our feelings and emotions, why they take place, and what they mean. It helps us build better understandings of ourselves in order to effectively deal with our problems. So I think a good way to kind of sum this up is I always think of like doing a job or a project, or say something breaks in your house and you have to fix it. And so you're faced with a problem in a sense. And so now you have to figure out how to fix this problem. Say your tire went flat. You're going to call CAA, or are you going to fix the tire yourself? This helps you identify problems and how you can solve them in your future. So you change the tire. Now next time you get a flat tire, you're going to know, okay, get the jack out, we got to take the tire down. Okay, jack up the truck. You're going to know all the steps. You're going to be comfortable with it. And really, you're going to solve the problem a lot quicker in the end. So another reason it's important is it really creates relationships, and that's what drives success. And now it's all about who you know. I think that's a saying we've all heard, and it's true. It's important. Like, relationships are the key to success. So emotional intelligence helps us understand people and what they're thinking, why they're thinking it, and that's just in terms going to create a stronger relationship. So we're really going to be able to connect to people a lot quicker. Other reasons it's important, it helps us express ourselves. So it gives you the ability to identify, use, understand, and manage our emotions in a positive manner to relieve stress. So you can't just keep it bottled up all inside. Like, people do that all the time, and that never works out. It's not healthy. So emotional intelligence helps us understand when to express ourselves and what things we should express ourselves on. So it really helps us weigh out the options and make the right choices towards what we should put our energy in. So the abilities emotional intelligence can promote is competence in social scenarios, stronger interpersonal communication skills, and how we accurately perceive them. So everybody knows how somebody's feeling or what they're thinking just by their body language or their tone of voice. It's easy to tell when somebody's being sarcastic, or hopefully it is anyway. Some people are tricky, but that's emotional intelligence. It's what we build to create almost smarts towards picking that out and being able to understand how people are feeling by their body language and how they're talking and what they're saying, and that's really important in building relationships too. It's all about relationships. Your main thing in life is having a healthy relationship, and that's all based from emotional intelligence. Other things it promotes is developing better relationships in workplaces, along with both working good in individual scenarios or in groups, and promoting emotional and intellectual growth. And what I mean when I say that is to be a good group worker, I find you have to really not let jealousy be involved. And that's in the sense of taking other people's ideas in and letting them, feel not okay, that's kind of saying it. Not letting them feel, but taking their ideas in and taking the smart part of their idea in a sense, taking the diamond out of the rough, and that's a good way to really help promote group bonding and group building in project managing or literally anything you do. It's a good way to help promote growth, and that's what it comes down to. So being able to actually accept other people's ideas and even use them over your own is a good way to actually build a better perception of who you are and what you think as a person. Other things intelligence can promote is it provides us with a higher drive for success, more outgoing, less fear when risk taking, and provides higher opportunity for career growth. So somebody with emotional intelligence, they tend to understand what they have to do, and they have I'm going to say good time management skills, because they know what energy they have to apply in the amount and when they have to apply it. So, for a sense, I have a bunch of assignments due this week. So, what assignments are due when? So, are they due Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday? What are the weight of the assignments? Is it worth 10%? Is it maybe I have a test? So, what am I going to prioritize myself around? Am I going to study for my test? Am I going to do my assignments first? It's really important to be able to understand and manage what you want to do. And emotional intelligence helps us do that. It helps us understand our thoughts. It helps us understand why we want to do things and what we want to do them for. And in the end, it's going to stop procrastination. You're not going to be thinking, oh yeah, wow, I have to do this big presentation. No, you're just thinking about saying the next slide or the next step, and that's really a strong ability that comes from emotional intelligence. So how can it support success? And it's a great support of success. I'd have to say that it helps create the best possible outcome from their interactions. It allows one to apply thinking skills to relationships and thought and emotion working together. So I'm saying thought and emotion working together, meaning having thought process and your emotions work together as one. So taking your emotions into consideration, thinking them through, and saying, okay, this is the best possible outcome, even having to maybe set your emotions aside. So that's very important to be able to build success, because we all know sometimes you can't let your emotions get in the way of things, and you have to drive on and complete what you have to do. So this allows one to apply thinking skills, and what it actually does is gives you the opportunity to weigh out your best possible option. It's thinking, it's processing what you feel and how you should react. Should you fight the guy that just bumped into you at the bar, or should you just let it go and walk away? It's all how you react. Other things that support success in emotional intelligence, and this is kind of like a thought process. So I've been touching base on this throughout the whole thing, but it's being able to accurately perceive an emotion, being able to think about it, which are two different things. Accurately perceiving an emotion is, am I how am I feeling? Am I actually upset over what happened, or am I just over dramatizing it, and I'm not really weighing out the scenarios? And that's where thinking comes in. So am I upset, or am I actually just maybe pissed off? Excuse my language, but whatever. I just I think that it's something that you have to assess, and they both kind of go hand in hand, but you have to be able to understand what the emotion you're feeling is before you can properly manage it. And that's the key. You have to be able to properly use your energy, in the sense of, don't deplete yourself in things that actually don't really need the time or the sacrifice when it really comes down to it. So, emotional intelligence can support success by allowing one to communicate effectively, empathize with others, and overcome challenges and diffuse conflict. It's important. It's important to be able to diffuse conflict. I think time and time again, people constantly are arguing about things and don't really actually weigh out the scenarios. They just almost speak and don't listen to any other opinion or give any other fact merit because of their emotions. And that's not a good way to live your, I'm sorry, not to be blunt, but it's not a good way to live your life. Like, you shouldn't let emotions affect how you perceive information. Maybe you do have a certain view on something, but you have to be able to take into consideration what somebody's saying when they're communicating with you, and what the actual point they're trying to get across, and weigh it out and say, does it make sense? And maybe it makes more sense than what you're trying to say to them, and that's where you say, I'm wrong. And that's, I think, what people have the most trouble with doing, is admitting they're wrong. And that's where it comes back down to working in groups and being able to assess other people's ideas and letting them say, your idea is better. Like, that's a tough thing for people to do, but once you're able to do that, you're going to be very successful and have a strong relationship with not only people but yourself. And that's, I feel, the most important, is having a good self relationship and self respect towards what you're doing. So, to conclude my presentation, it's very important to be able to understand how you and others think in order to build successful relationships throughout your career. It's important to continuously build and strengthen your emotional intelligence, keeping it sharp to help you better your understanding and how to deal with problems in relationships in the future. You can't just expect to know. You have to be able to explore and be curious and be able to understand that maybe you're not always in tune, and maybe you do need to sharpen your skills. So emotional intelligence provides us with the ability to accurately perceive emotions, along with the ability to develop and maintain strong relationships. with the use of positive interpersonal communication skills. It also helps us to take the appropriate risks and experience occupational growth in the workplace throughout a higher drive for success. All in all, emotional intelligence is very important. It's funny because there's actually a couple of videos that touch up on it, and it tells you how emotional intelligence wasn't really brought into the picture until the 1990s is when the first, I guess, study was recognized about emotional intelligence. It was it was first recorded in the 80s and the late 80s, but it didn't really become recognized until it was published, and then people started to read up and realize, wow, this makes sense. This is what I'm experiencing. And it's ironic because he's creating, how do I want to say, like, he's creating emotional intelligence by the fact of people are connecting with this book, which is creating a relationship. Oh wow, I understand what he's saying. This totally makes sense. And they're actually changing how they view and how they look at their intelligence. It's a completely separate. They say EQ and IQ, and that's emotional intelligence versus your actual intelligence. And it's crazy when you strengthen your emotional intelligence, how the other one follows. And that's what I think is important towards building success and having a successful future. So I'd like to thank you for listening to my presentation, and I hope that you found it informative.